Protect your life right now, protect your life. Protect your life right now, protect your life. Protect your life right now, protect your life. Now check it out. Now look, the apple don't fall far from trees, right? I'm in the land of milk and honey with the bees, like. And if I'm ripping it, what I'm sowing with my seeds, like. Now check it out.
Okay, so welcome to Black Therapist Chat. We're just kind of continuing the conversation from our Zoom, and we thought this would be a really great safe space to create as Black mental health professionals, therapists, social workers, to kind of share our lived experience as mental health providers of color, to share our thoughts on like current events that are going on and on providing services for our clients, in particular Black clients. So hopefully everyone can kind of learn from each other. Hopefully if you're watching this, you can learn something new and empower yourself or others, and go to therapy if you feel like you need to do that, or yeah. So we can start, I guess, by everyone can introduce themselves and what you do in the mental health profession and all of that. Or whatever you want to share about yourself, a fun fact or something. Which is really lame. I don't know why I said that. Okay, you can start, Elisa.
My name is Elisa Beagle. I'm a mental health therapist. I currently will be working in a private practice setting. Fun fact about me, I don't know, fun fact.
I know, I kind of sprung that on you.
I don't know. I'm from Houston. Yes.
H-Time.
Yeah, exactly.
Going down. Did I say right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
What? I'm crossing.
Go ahead. No, I was talking about that. Go ahead.
Oh.
Yeah. You try to play me.
My name is Adrian. I have my LPC.
What's the LPC, eh? What is that?
Licensed professional counselor.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just so the people know.
Okay. I was like, did I get it right?
What's impossible?
I do telehealth assessments for CHS. I assess people when they come in the ER to see if they meet criteria for hospitalization. And I don't have any fun facts about me. Oh, well, today I went to pick blueberries.
I saw you
And
in
then
the
I went
orchard.
to the Amish land and got some stuff from the Amish folks.
Okay, what you get from
They make all their stuff like it's craft, handmade stuff. So it's just like honey and spices and things like that. So
that's right.
it was a good experience. It was hot though.
That's awesome. Go ahead, Cyrus.
I'm Cyrus. I am a social worker, but my title is psychiatric inpatient coordinator. I'm working in inpatient hospital.
What do you do over there at the hospital?
I do treatment plans.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Okay.
And teach groups.
Teach groups. All right.
You man. I'm Princess Rochelle. At least that's what I go by at work. And
God.
and I'm a licensed master social worker. And currently I'm a medical case manager working with people living with HIV.
And my name is Courtney. I am also a licensed master social worker. And I currently provide counseling services to a domestic violence shelter, serving women and children. And yeah, I see other people as well, but I'm primarily a domestic violence shelter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I guess I can say I'm also an LPC. I'm a therapist. I do a private practice therapy with just people coming in from the community for therapy. So I guess we could kind of start off the conversation. We kind of touched on it in the Zoom call, but how are you guys? It's actually been, that was probably like 3 weeks ago. So how are you guys now coping with COVID, quarantine? Quarantine's kind of different than it was 3 weeks ago. And just everything going on in the media. Obviously, police brutality is like ongoing, never ends. But how are you coping with that? That's kind of a loaded question, but
Well, for me, I've been in and out of social media. I've been like tapping here and there, but not doing too much in depth because, of course, like right now, according to the news and of course, I guess society, like the numbers and COVID are rising, and then everybody's getting that antsiness a little bit, and I just feel like, I don't know, sometimes if I tap too deep in, I feel like it starts to rub off on me, and then I start to feel a little way. So I'm just trying to do things that have been helping me overall this whole process. Is just spending time outside, taking walks, I can do social distancing walks with friends, or tossing a football with my cousin, or something, just outdoors that is helpful for me, like for my mental health, and then doing my normal routine in the morning of like meditation and prayer, and just like taking in the quiet of the morning. That's my favorite time of day. It's just like that early, like 5 a.m., 5:30, just like really taking their time in, just where it's quiet, and just like, I don't know, being in that state and just being present is just really big for me. So I really enjoy that, and then just trying to keep up with maybe a couple of shows that provide some entertainment, but just things where I'm able to provide a balance, so I'm not too drawn into everything, being aware of what's happening, but without being sucked into it, where it disturbs my mental health on a different level.
yeah.
I have a question. Were you doing that routine before, and you like were more intentional, or like did you make some adjustments? Like where?
So I started struggling with anxiety pretty bad, like probably like a year and a half ago, and then I'd been fine, and then like over the last couple of months, like a month before COVID was a huge thing, I was struggling with it again. I don't know, maybe due to my stress levels. So I started having like panic attacks started happening again. So that means I have to, when that starts to happen, I know I have to restructure my life and make it really consistent. Like I have to get up in the morning, I have to have some movement, I have to do meditation, because I don't, just me personally, I don't do well with prescription medication and stuff like that, and I don't want to be on that attached to something. So I like more natural ways and stuff like that. So I know that it takes more routine for me to keep my levels of anxiety and stress pretty low. So I just choose to like have a routine. I know that routine keeps me from having that. So of course, going into the COVID state and stuff like that, I had to. It just kept me consistent. So that I wouldn't do with that. But yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I feel like anxiety is very real, especially everything that goes on like around us in the current events. But that's definitely like me. I don't know how y'all feel when you do therapy or you see people, but I feel like anxiety is probably one of the top things that people come in wanting some type of like assistance with. How do I manage not just what's internally going on, but like anxiety coming from outside of me? But I get that. I feel like I see that's probably like top 3.
I definitely agree with that. That most people are definitely suffering from anxiety, especially during this time too. People that may have never experienced it before, they now have this shift in like what's happening, like what's going on. And like anxiety is normal though too, because it's a part of being like stressed out a little bit. Like stress is normal too. And I think people are noticing the effects of how it can change your everyday life if you don't respond to it well. And so, yeah, because like I was telling Cyrus earlier, like therapists right now, we're very essential because people are experiencing things that they've never experienced before, or they are just now uncovering these things because you're in quarantine or things keep constantly changing back and forth. So, yeah, I definitely agree with that, for sure.
I also heard that like domestic violence too, that's on the rise because of quarantine, and just especially working in the clinic that I work in, sometimes these things kind of come up, and it's kind of unfortunate because the social work team, we're kind of limited because of COVID, and we're not as present as we normally are because we can't all be there in case we get it. And so definitely seeing like a difference in a lot of my clients, people that have maybe disenrolled from the program that I work with or that are coming back, people losing like high paying jobs and not knowing how to cope with what's all happening around them, and not being able to like stop things from happening that they can't control, so definitely agree with that. And I agree with you in regards to like anxiety. Like I feel like I have anxiety, and I do like suffer from depression, and I've been in therapy before, and then I kind of fell out of it. You know how it goes, you're like, I feel better. I feel better, I don't need to go anymore. But it definitely got worse during COVID. I'm naturally kind of an introvert. Even though I'm Aquarius and they say we're extrovert, I don't know about all that. I'm an introvert, and I don't care to go out all the time and stuff. And so I thought, well, this is my dream come true. This is what I want. And then it happened, and I was like, this is terrible. Like I never felt more depressed. And so that's when I took up walking and just kind of focusing like on my health, like make sure I'm not eating all these snacks and stuff all the time, because that can make you depressed too.
Vicious cycle.
Yeah. And I don't know, just kind of focus on me and making sure like to my relationship, because I'm sharing a space with someone else and I'm having to see them all the time. You would think being married to someone, you're like, this is okay, I'm used to being with you, but you're not used to being with that person every day, 24/7, when you wake up and by the time you go to sleep. And it's just the stressors that come up, like little things annoy you, like why did you put those dishes up? Do you always leave your clothes like on the floor? Like just stuff like that will come up, and it's been really stressful, on top of all like the police brutality, all that stuff that we see like on social media. That stuff is
Karens.
Yeah, it's getting mad. So I've done the same thing. I'm just kind of like, I'll turn it off, or I'll just not reply to people, or just not say anything, like just be done. I think my last time I got upset was, it was about the syrup, and somebody said something sideways, and at that point I was just like, man, I'm letting this stuff like really overwhelm me and consume me, because at this point I feel like I'm just gonna stop liking. I'm just not gonna fool with anybody or talk to anybody.
With the Aunt Jemima?
Yeah.
Okay, if people don't know.
Oh yeah. And just there's a lot of people that don't understand, and that upsets me. And I don't know if that's okay that upsets me, that they don't understand. I guess, I don't know. I guess I've just kind of been, I try to be like understanding, Some people just think this is just a brand that's at the store. They don't do any research or anything like that. But I don't know. I think that was the last bit for me that I was like, all right, I need to just kind of chill. And some of the stuff that's happening, like these celebrities that are like making these speeches about like their white privilege, and I think that's unnecessary. Yeah, they made like a whole there's like a video out, and these like prominent white celebrities.
Oh, the I take responsibility
Yeah,
thing?
and I just thought that was just a whole hot mess.
I'm gonna log off.
Yeah, nobody asked for
I
that.
haven't seen that.
It's a mess.
It's just a whole, and it's like a black and white.
Yes.
That's how serious they're like. I take responsibility. I take responsibility. Okay, then.
Take responsibility.
What now? Like, what now?
Yeah.
After this video, your publicist told you to post. What now?
Yeah.
What you really gonna do?
This is a mess.
It was a lot. It was just.
It's a lot of
very
people
extra.
just reacting,
Yeah.
and it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you saying this is not
Yeah.
evoking change. I don't care that you take responsibility. I don't care
Right.
that you
And like
say
it seems like all the little things, like we're not gonna call the master bedroom the master.
Yeah.
bedroom.
That got me. Like, I thought that was like,
First of all,
there's like
who
a
even
crime
knew
that
that?
like that.
I didn't know that.
I didn't even think about it.
I was like,
think about it.
duh.
What master? What? Oh.
Right.
But it's like, how about the police though? Like y'all
Right.
changing on this, Ben and Jerry's or whatever. Like, how about the police?
Yeah.
You know, I think like what you're saying, that's the frustrating part is all these little minute things. And yes, the Aunt Jemima thing, like can we not?
It's almost like they're trying to pacify our pain.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes.
And not really focusing on the real issues at hand.
Definitely.
And so, like, these police officers, they need to be charged, they need to be convicted, they need to spend time in jail, not 6 months. They need to do
It needs to
the
be
same
reformed.
time.
It needs reform.
Yeah, like, y'all telling us to go vote, you need to vote, and you don't need to vote for that president that you gonna vote for too. Like, so yeah, I just feel like doing things like that is just trying to pacify our pain. Like, okay, all right, we did this. Is this okay? You know? Yeah. So.
Can I ask y'all's opinion on the things of like I've seen a lot of posts lately, mainly like to like arrest the police that killed Breonna Taylor and then defunding the police. That idea, how do y'all feel about it? Do y'all feel like it's feasible? Do y'all feel like it will work, like to defund the police?
I believe so. I believe it could work, especially if they take those same funds and put them in mental health or training professionals to go out and deal with crises, you know, instead of reacting to, killing, because these people are afraid. But I'm afraid all the time at work too, but I don't even have a gun or anything.
Right.
It's not. Yeah, when it's not an option, you just find a different way to deal with people.
You use your words, you sit down and talk, you try to figure out where they at, and it's other ways,
Because I think like the social workers, we're out in the field, we come up against any and everything. I walk neighborhoods, and while I'm walking in the neighborhood, they shooting, and like I've never once been like, let me shoot you, or I don't even think about it.
Or
Like,
harming somebody.
Yeah,
they're posing a threat. It's like you de-escalate
Like
them.
them.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
I recall my very first job in the field was case manager for homelessness. And I was at campsites, trying to meet people that were actively responding, to stuff. And that was terrifying, but it was my job. I had to go out and do it. I didn't have any type of, weapon.
When I started working at the hospital with you, or interning there, first of all, I didn't even want to, God really pushed me into mental health, because that's not what I wanted to do with my social work degree at all. I really didn't want to be a social worker, but that's besides the point. And so when I went to the hospital, I was terrified, absolutely scared. That's why I told you, my last day, I ran out of that thing, because I didn't get attacked, I didn't get cussed at, and I felt like, okay, I survived. But I remember there was one patient, super big guy. They were always calling codes on him, no matter what unit he was at. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly.
Okay, so one day, y'all, we're doing groups. Right before groups, a code is called. And I look at the little list, because you get a list of knowing what patient is going to be in your group. I see his name on there. I'm like, Jesus, please. They did a code or whatever. He ended up coming to the group, and he sat right beside me. The most he said to me was he grabbed my badge. I was like, your picture's ugly. And I was like, thanks. And after group, he got into it with a text. They called code, but I was like, It could have been me.
You made it.
Could have been, should have been me, but it wasn't me. But I never thought, like, in my mind, I was thinking, like, okay, if he does do something that is threatening to me, am I going to hit him back? Or, no. Like, that's why I'm looking at the text. Okay, y'all can come in and help or whatever. But, yeah.
We didn't have no access to no deadly force. We have to use other means.
Yeah.
And I think, like, in other countries, I don't want to misspeak, but I think in the UK, police don't even have
In
firearms.
Canada, when I was in Vancouver,
Yeah.
like about a year and a half ago, like they don't have firearms.
Yeah.
They don't have anything really.
They find
their
a
violence
way.
rates are low.
Yeah, they find a way to intervene in situations without using like that deadly force. And I saw a post that was saying to people who don't think defunding the police is possible, like just go to the suburbs, like, and being someone who grew up in the suburbs, like you literally don't see no police. You know, I mean, if something happens, they come with the quickness if you call them like for a life-threatening emergency, but there's not a need to have police like patrolling the streets in the suburbs because there's not poverty, so there's not as much crime, so there's not as much like drug use and all the other things that come with poverty, and marginalizing people. So if you fix the institutional issues, which you black and like that's really hard to do, but then you don't need the police around all the time and like militarized thing coming into communities that they're supposed to protect. So I think it's possible. I don't know what it looks like when they say defund. I don't know if that's like some money's still gonna go obviously into the police force, but just a fraction of it. But I definitely think it's possible. But I think it's not in everyone's best interest to do it because they have ties to other, other groups that are giving them money, like probably the NRA and stuff. I don't know that much about that, but I'm sure it's not in everyone's best interest to defund the police.
I also think that some people are misunderstanding what defund the police is. Some people keep thinking that defund the police is like, we don't need police.
It's like get rid of the police.
It's like, no, we still kind of need the police. We just don't, need to put all our money in the police.
Yeah.
We need to add money into like our communities. It makes me think about Edge Hill in Nashville. I went to like one of their like community meetings during an internship, and all those people and their kids, these are poor people, and then like a couple blocks over is like, or at least 5 or 10 minutes away is like East Nashville, where it's like you see like the turnip truck and like all these new buildings. It's just sad. You can tell that there's like a bubble. Yeah,
it's really sad.
That's a good I'm sorry.
No,
Because I was thinking about like, I saw a post the other day, and I don't remember what they said exactly, but it was talking about gentrification. And so do y'all think that is a part of systemic racism as well? Like, because it kind of hits me like, okay, Nashville, y'all are doing, I believe in Nashville strong, this, that, and third, but y'all definitely don't mind gentrifying these neighborhoods. So I find it hard to believe that you believe in Nashville or that you care about people in poverty or people in color that is affecting. So what do y'all think?
I actually had this topic on our little Google Doc because I think it ties so much into like as mental health providers and healthcare in general, the like historical inequities that Black people have faced with healthcare, and it reminds me of that because when I was in one of my nursing classes, there's this website you can go to and you can look up your zip code and it tells you the life expectancy. And so it's like Robert Wood Johnson Foundation.org or something. It's like RWJF if people want to look it up because it's kind of interesting. But I put in like my zip code 37207, and I think the life expectancy was like 72, 75, something like that. And then I put in a specific address for Casey Holmes projects, and it's like 13 years less than their life expectancy. But it's in the same zip code. And I think that's just like about gentrification. It's not just, oh, we're like increasing the property value because we're putting in all these nice homes and new businesses, but it's like you're like a block over from the projects and your life expectancy is 12 years more. So it's like there's also with gentrification, it doesn't increase access for people who are in poverty. You know what I'm saying? Like turnip truck's really close to them, but right. So for me, I do think gentrification is a part of systemic racism, and I think it's more subtle because people feel like, but I'm near, like I have proximity to people of color, so I can't be racist, but you're pushing people out of where they were, and you're creating spaces that are not welcoming to these people who lived here for like 20, 30, 40, 50 plus years. So I do think it definitely ties into like mental health care and healthcare in general. It's like, why is that disparity there in the same neighborhood? That was a lot.
That was good.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Black Therapist Chat Part 1. Don't forget to tune in next week to Part 2. Our discussion goes so much deeper. In the description box, you'll see what we cover next week. Thank you again for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Love.
Up tardy and yo, I'm hella low maintenance. I can eat some sardines and that's out the space. That's Mercury. I'm strong like my daddy. I'm Hercules. That's too deep. You sleep. You hopped over the fence. You sheep. You slept on me. My last album is weaponry.